Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to this class. I hope all of you are safe and sound, staying at home, practicing the tongue twisters which you have learned in last week. Right, today in this class, we're going to learn an interesting story based on a thoughtful son. I guess you have already learned the story of Shravan Kumar. Just like that, today I'm going to tell you an interesting story about a thoughtful son. Let's get started with that. Before we start the story, I want you to have a good look at these pictures. What do you see in these pictures? What do you understand from these pictures? You see some elderly people and their children are taking good care of them. It seems that the children are very kind, considerate, loving, and thoughtful, right? Today we're going to learn a story of a thoughtful son whose name was Taro, and the title of our story is Taro's Reward. He is Taro. He is a young woodcutter. You know what woodcutter does? Yes, woodcutter cuts wood. He chops wood. Taro is a young woodcutter who lives with his parents by the side of a hill. His parents are old. He takes good care of his parents because he is a thoughtful and loving son. He is very kind and considerate. He always works hard to fulfill the wishes of his parents. Even though he works hard all the day, whatever the money that he earns was not enough to fulfill the wishes of his parents. This makes Taro sadder because Taro wants to take good care of his parents, he wants to fulfill the wishes of his parents, but whatever the earnings that he is getting are not enough for him to fulfill the wishes of his parents. So this makes him a little sad. One day, a strong wind began to blow. Strong wind began to blow through the cracks of the hut in which Taro and his parents were living. The old parents of Taro were shivering because of the cold wind. Suddenly, Taro's father said, I wish I had a cup of sake. It would warm me and do my old heart good, he said. He wished that he had a cup of sake. Sake is a popular Japanese drink and it is made by fermenting rice. It would warm me and do my old heart good. This old man feels that if he has a cup of sake, he would feel warm because it is very cold outside. So, if he drinks that sake, he believes that he would become warm. Let us have a look at this new word here, sake. You see a strange symbol on the oval E over there. That symbol is known as acute accent symbol, and that will tell us how to say the word, how to pronounce it. This symbol actually is used above a vowel to say us how to pronounce it, right? That is called acute accent symbol. It should be pronounced as sake, not sake. Remember, it should be pronounced as sake, and it is a popular Japanese drink which is made by fermenting rice. Is that clear, everyone? So the old man wanted to have a cup of sake so that he would feel warm. Taro started to think, how do I earn more money? Because sake was expensive. His father wished to have a cup of sake. If he had to buy the cup of sake, he had to earn more money because sake was an expensive drink. So he started to think, how do I earn more money? How do I get a little sake for my poor old father? He started to think. At last, he had decided that he had to chop more wood so that he could earn more money. That's what he had decided. He decided to chop more wood and earn more money. The next day, he woke up earlier than ever and started off. He went to the forest and he started to chop the wood. He was chopping wood and he felt thirsty and his face was wet with sweat and he felt so warm. He thought that how nice it would be if my father also feels as warm as I am. He feels so. Suddenly, he heard a sound. It was like rushing water. He never heard that type of sound in that area. He was very thirsty, so he ran in the direction of the sound. There, he saw a stream. He went near it so that he can quench his thirst. He cupped a little in his hands and he tasted the water. Was it water or sake? He tasted it and he cannot believe himself because it did not taste like water. It tasted like sake. He could not believe that. So immediately he was carrying a pitcher with him. You could see the picture in the picture. The pitcher is a pot usually made of mud. You can see the picture there. A pot usually made of mud. He filled the pot with sake and ran to his home. He gave the sake to his old father. And what happened, you know? He drank sake and he started to dance. He stopped shivering and he started to dance. The old man took a sip of sake and then he started dancing. He did a little dance on the floor. Meanwhile, that evening, a lady visited Tharo's house. She was offered sake. As they have sake at their home, they offered her some sake. She drank the sake, and Taro shared the story of Magic Waterfall, how he got the sake. He shared that story. The woman listened carefully, drank the sake, and then she left. She told this story to everybody in the village. Everyone knew about this magic waterfall, and now all of them came to Taro's house. There were so many people in front of Taro's house. One by one came into Taro's house and heard the story of the waterfall, and they took a sip of the sake. And you know something? In less than an hour, the whole picture was empty. The next day, Taro woke up early and he gathered all the utensils from his house and he started to forest. He went to forest and there he went to the waterfall to collect sake. But before he reached there, he saw so many villagers standing there with all the pitchers and jugs and whatever they could find. They brought all those things there and they all have reached that place, all the villagers. Taro was surprised to see them there. All of them were there and they were talking. What were they talking? Water, nothing but water. One of the villagers had gone to the waterfall and he cupped a little and he tasted it. It was just like water. It was not sake. It was only water. Water, nothing but water, the man shouted. Next, another man went there and he also tasted it, and another man went and he also tasted. Everybody went there and they all tasted. But for all, it was only water. It was not sake. All these village people became angry. We have been tricked. We have been cheated. Where is Taro? Let us drown him in this waterfall. They all became angry and they all think that Taro had cheated them and they all want to drown Taro in the waterfall, for they believe that Taro lied to them. Taro, as he is smart, he did not right away go near the people. He hid behind the rock. After all these village people had left the place, Pharaoh came out from his hiding place. Once more, he caught a little liquid in his hand and he put it to his lips. It was the same fine sake. He drank, he tasted it. It was the same fine sake. But the villagers were telling that it was water. But for Pharaoh, it was sake. So the waterfall gave sake to Pharaoh, but water to all other remaining people. This news had reached the king of Japan, the emperor of Japan. Then he called for Pharaoh, and then Pharaoh went to the emperor's court. Actually, emperor was so impressed by Pharaoh's kindness, and then he named most beautiful fountain in Japan as Pharaoh's fountain. He said that it is done to encourage all the children to honor and obey their parents. The emperor has said, I am naming one of the most beautiful fountains in our country as Pharaoh's fountain, just to encourage all the children to honor and obey their parents. And he has also given Pharaoh a reward of 20 gold coins. Pharaoh was rewarded with 20 pieces of gold for being so kind and good. Pharaoh never intended to receive all these rewards. He was only a thoughtful, kind, loving son. He never expected these things to come in his life, but he was rewarded because of his kindness. He was rewarded because he was thoughtful. He was rewarded because he was considerate. He was such a loving son. He only wanted to take good care of his parents by working hard. That's what made him great. That's what made him receive all the rewards. So, just like these children, honor and obey your parents, not for the rewards, but for everything that they do for you. Never ever disobey your parents. Always obey your parents and do whatever they say. Please do not argue with your parents. Do not be dishonest or disrespectful to your parents. Always honor your parents. Always obey them, because we can never repay them for all the things that they do for us, for all the sacrifices that they make for us. So, my dear children, I advise all of you to honor and obey your parents. Don't think of any rewards, just think of what all they do for you. That's all in this class we have. I hope we'll meet soon with another interesting class. Till then, take care, obey your parents, stay home. Bye bye.